Good morning, everyone. So, since we are almost 24 hours away from the uh, 10th board exam of English language and literature, this is a quick summarized version of some important points, some key notes that can be revised on the go. And for your convenience, I'm also going to put down some notes in the description box. So we're going to begin with character traits, as some of my students had requested for the same. So let's look at Anne, the character of Anne Frank. Now, Anne is an engaging girl with very strong thoughts. She's extremely sensitive, as we can see in the way she handles her relationship with her grandmother, and then, of course, the passing away of her grandmother. She's smart, she's competitive. This we can see from the incident that she mentions about her classroom, where she talks about how most of the boys don't deserve to move to the next level. And then, of course, she's extremely humorous. Now, the humor part comes out in different ways, not just with her interaction and her essay writing with Mr. Keesing, but then her entire take on how teachers are, if they are unpredictable. So that is another humorous point. And she's extremely daring and courageous. Although Mr. Keesing has, never liked her habit of talking, and as a teacher, he's constantly critical about the whole thing, but she gives it a very logical and a very practical angle to her talking. Okay, so she's daring, she is not argumentative or rude, but in her own way she maneuvers, and she kind of convinces Mr. Keesing about why talking is an inherent trait and she really cannot do much about it. So without being rude, arrogant, uncritical, she just handles the whole situation wherein Mr. Keesing also gets convinced. Now that also shows that she's extremely persuasive, and she's optimist by nature. She's mature for her age, as we can see that she and usually, the way she demarcates, the way she draws a line between her life that is away from the friends with whom she interacts on a certain level, and then why she needs a diary wherein she shares details that she cannot really discuss with her friends. So that shows that kind of maturity she has at that age. And of course, throughout the extract that we have of the life of Anne Frank, we know that she is lively and very bright person. So this way the character of Anne Frank can be dealt with. We then move to Lencho. Now, Lencho has been metaphorically explained as a hard worker who works like a bull. So that metaphor we can definitely mention, and even underline some key points when we are talking about characters. Even when I mentioned Anne, and now that we are doing the other characters, some key points, not the entire line, but some major factors, some terms can be underlined, which would help the examiner correct the answer sheet, better convinced that the student has really done that, put that much effort. So coming back to Lencho, he's a hard worker compared to a bull. He's also quite hopeful initially, as we can see in the chapter Letter to God. He's worked hard, he's ready to see his crops flourish and boom in, and he's just waiting for that rain just to make everything perfect. But that doesn't happen as destiny would have it. But then too, he has an unshakable belief in God, which is why, although his crops are destroyed, although everything, uh, just comes down, falling totally unexpected, expected turn of events happen after the natural calamity. But so as we were basically he did not expect rain to take things to take such a turn, the events took a turn, uh, harming his crops and all his hard work going down, washing down the rain, as we may say. But doesn't lose hope. He continues being hopeful, and his one single ray of hope is God. His blind faith that we all have repeatedly read in the chapter, that he was blindly faithful of God. Instead of asking somebody, no other character is basically mentioned till the time he writes the letter. So that is his only savior. He believes that God would definitely save him, and he asked the exact amount of money that he would require after doing his calculations. Now, so till now everything was fine. This comes under the unshakable belief that he had in God, the faith that kept him driving. So that shows that he's optimistic, he's hopeful. Now, naive, Naive, that term has been used for Lencho. So we may say that he wasn't worldly wise. Perhaps he never thought that, or he never expected somebody to help him, and his blind faith of God kept him, kept himself, his expectations reserved only towards God. So his reception of the amount that was managed by the postmaster is cynical, because he doesn't know. So that is why he's naive. He's called as naive. He doesn't realize that actually the amount has been collected by the postmaster and the team of the postmaster, the other people at the post office. So this shows, of course, his ungratefulness or ingratitude. He wasn't worldly wise. That means he did not really think from that angle. And then we can also add one more dimension to his character, which is that he was cynical. Cynical. Cynical, that he did not trust the efforts that were made by somebody else. He was critical, and hence this made him bitter about his experience, although the postmaster's intention was totally and completely to not break his faith in God, or to not disrupt his faith in God, or to not disappoint him. Fine. So basically there are two angles. We can see it from either way. It will all depend on our perception. We may consider it that he was naive, or we may consider that he was ungrateful. All right. In either case, we can give the explanation as in how we want it. My tip to all the students who are sitting for the English examination would be that whenever you're quoting a particular incident or a trait, when you're quoting an important trait of a character, please mention the incident that proves the trait, or that in a way substantiates your statement about that particular trait. So it is important that not only the trait, but the incident related to that quality or that trait is also mentioned. Our next character which we are going to look at is Hari Singh, who is from SR, the thief story, or a thief story. Now, Hari Singh, as we know from the very beginning, young boy and a seasoned thief. A seasoned thief means he's been an expert thief, and he's been into this profession from quite some time, and now Anil is his next target. Definitely he does not reveal, he has been having different names which can be mentioned, and obviously because he was a seasoned thief, that is why he had so many different names. So his aim was another theft, another deception. At the same time, he was a keen observant, so he knew Anil's whereabout, what Anil was doing, when Anil was doing what, how much Anil was earning, and how he was spending. He was a keen observant. Initially, we also see that he was a liar. He had actually convinced Anil to, employ him on the false assumption or the false conviction or convincing that Hari Singh knows how to cook. But then eventually, it is something that is not proved. Okay, so based on that assumption, Anil had taken him in. But at the same time, it was Anil's large heartedness, or you can say generosity, or his consideration. He did not actually put Hari Singh out. So, talking about Hari Singh, as we said, he was a keen observant. At the same time, he was receptive. Receptive. He was extremely receptive. Now, what do we mean by receptive is that he was open, he was accepting to all that Anil started doing for him. So, Anil would sometimes give him a little bit of money. Anil taught him a little bit of cooking. Anil introduced the world of numbers and letters to him, which is he introduced him to education. And then it was not an overnight process that changed Hari Singh. It was Anil's effort from the very beginning, which gradually took shape in the realization which Hari Singh had at the station's platform. So it started when Anil started giving him that, the motive of the motivation of being able to learn, to read and write and earn that respect. So he was receptive of that. He was very open to whatever Anil would teach him, whatever Anil would tell him. He was introspective at the end, at the railway station. He was introspective, and he was a conscientious person. Okay, Conscientious. He was conscientious about, because you have an inner conscience. That inner conscience was still alive in him, and that is why he realized that how much Anil had done for him, and he owes Anil that gratitude, and that is why he goes back. Okay, so we can definitely consider Hari Singh to be a dynamic character. I've already discussed about different types of characters. Now, dynamic character is a character which transports from or changes for the better. Okay, very raw at the beginning. So Hari Singh is pretty raw from the very beginning, but then how he matures and he changes into a dynamic character, the realization, his inner conscience, his inner voice, his acceptance, his reception, his desire to learn, all of these make him a dynamic character. And how he returns back to Anil, and definitely we know that he's a progressive character, he's ready to change, and Anil is that element. Anil is that catalyst who has helped Hari Singh to change, right?